The stars went silent as the massive alien vessels entered Earth's orbit. Their hulls reflected sunlight in patterns no human engineer would design, all sharp angles and asymmetrical protrusions that somehow managed to look both organic and mechanical at once. Admiral Elena Reyes stood frozen on the bridge of the UNS Defender, Earth's flagship and humanity's first line of defense. The communication screens before her displayed only static. Their broadcast of mathematical sequences, music, and greeting messages in all Earth's major languages had been met with complete silence. "They're scanning us," Lieutenant Vega reported, his voice tight. "Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." Reyes nodded, maintaining her composure despite the hammering of her heart. Humanity had prepared for this moment for generations. First contact with an alien civilization. Every simulation, every protocol had assumed a gradual, cautious exchange. None had prepared them for the overwhelming presence of 7 distinct vessel designs, each larger than anything humans had ever constructed. "We're receiving a transmission," Communications Officer Patel announced suddenly. I can't decipher the format, but our systems are automatically processing it." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being with iridescent scales covering a humanoid frame. Multiple eyes blinked independently across what appeared to be its face. When it spoke, the ship's translation system struggled to keep pace. "Humanity," the alien's words emerged in a flat synthetic voice. "Your neural disruption broadcasts have been catalogued as act of preemptive hostility." Reyes stepped forward. "There's been a misunderstanding. Our messages were meant as peaceful greetings." The alien's primary eyes narrowed. "The Dominion recognizes pattern weapon deployment regardless of primitive disguise. Your species' unpredictable neural patterns have been classified as potentially hazardous." "Intelligence Officer," Kaichin whispered from behind her. "Admiral, they're interpreting our thought patterns themselves as weapons." "We mean no harm," Reyes tried again. "We request a diplomatic exchange to establish mutual understanding." The alien commander made a gesture that the translation system couldn't interpret. "Diplomatic team will be received." 24 hours. Later, Reyes watched in horror as the shuttle returning from the alien mothership docked with its airlock seals broken. Inside, her diplomatic team lay dead, their expressions frozen in what could only be described as terror. "They fear what makes us special," Chen said, analyzing intercepted communications. "Our adaptability, our creativity, our unpredictable nature. They evolved in rigid hierarchies with predictable thought patterns. We're chaotic by comparison." "They're afraid of what we might become," Reyes realized, the weight of humanity's situation settling on her shoulders. The answer came before she could form a response plan. A blinding flash illuminated Earth's night skies as the lunar outpost, humanity's first permanent settlement beyond Earth, disappeared in a blast of energy that left nothing but a scorched crater. Across the planet, billions of humans looked up to witness the light reaching Earth 8 seconds after destruction. In that moment, every person realized 2 fundamental truths. We are not alone in the universe, and our new neighbors want us extinct. The alien war had begun. 6 months of relentless orbital bombardment had transformed Earth's gleaming metropolises into skeletal ruins. The Dominion strategy was methodical and merciless, systematically destroying military installations, communication networks, and manufacturing centers before landing their ground forces. Dr. Marcus Chen wiped condensation from his glasses as he hunched over an alien device still pulsing with eerie blue light. The underground laboratory beneath Mount Everest had never been meant to house 300 of Earth's brightest scientists, but necessity had transformed this research outpost into humanity's last hope. "Any progress?" asked General Santos, her uniform tattered but her bearing still commanding respect. Chen sighed. "They expected us to surrender by now. Their technology operates on principles we're still struggling to comprehend." The captured communication device suddenly emitted a series of rapid pulses. Chen adjusted his neural scanner, a jury-rigged combination of medical equipment and salvaged alien tech. The readings made his exhausted eyes widen. "That's impossible," he whispered. What is it? Santos leaned closer. Their neural network, the way they communicate tactically, it operates on frequencies that human brains naturally disrupt. Chen's fingers flew across his tablet. They evolved in harmony with each other, their thought patterns synchronized. We evolved in chaos. Our brains emit patterns they find jarring and unpredictable. Across the planet, similar discoveries were being made through bitter experience. Professor Amara Okafor, once a respected historian at Lagos University, now led 300 resistance fighters through the dense West African rainforest. She carefully documented every encounter with the occupiers. They're weakening, she told her lieutenants, pointing to the alien corpse they'd recovered. Their environmental suits can't handle our atmosphere for extended periods. They're allergic to everything: pollen, mold spores, bacteria. In Paris, teenagers discovered the aliens couldn't process certain sound frequencies. In Mumbai, engineers noticed the invaders' vision failed in heavy rain. Small victories, isolated discoveries. Humanity's resistance was fragmented but learning. Chen worked through his third consecutive night, the breakthrough finally coming at 3:17 a.m. when his neural scanner detected something extraordinary. He immediately called for Santos. We can weaponize our own brainwaves, he explained, holding up a modified helmet covered in wires and alien components. Their communication network is vulnerable to the chaotic patterns human minds naturally produce. It's why they wanted us gone. We're the equivalent of deafening static to their sensitive systems. Santos studied the crude device. Can you mass-produce these? Better, Chen replied. We can amplify the effect using their own communication, relays against them. One strategic strike could disrupt their entire command structure. For the first time in months, Santos smiled. How soon? 2 weeks to build the prototype. Then we need a team crazy enough to infiltrate their mothership. Santos nodded grimly. I know just the people. That night, using heavily encrypted channels, resistance cells worldwide received the same message. Operation Thunderclap. Prepare for coordinated counterattack. Humanity strikes back in 14 days. From the shadows of defeat, hope emerged, not just of survival, but of victory. The Dominion had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity by their own standards, never understanding that what made us different was precisely what would save us. Dawn had not yet broken over the Pacific when Operation Thunderclap began. Captain James Huang synchronized his watch with team members scattered across what remained of human resistance. The neural disruptor strapped to his back hummed with potential energy, a cobbled-together miracle of human ingenuity and repurposed alien technology. Comms check, he whispered to his 5-person infiltration team as they crouched in the maintenance shaft of the Dominion mothership. Each member represented a different continent. Humanity's last stand required global cooperation like never before. For Earth, they responded in sequence, their voices barely audible above the alien vessel's ambient hum. Huang checked the hand-drawn map provided by a maintenance worker who had been conscripted to clean the ship. The central neural relay chamber lay 3 levels up, guarded but accessible through the environmental control ducts. Remember, we'll have approximately 4 minutes between disabling the security systems and the automated reset, Huang reminded them. Once we're in position, we activate the disruptor and get out before they recover. The team moved through the narrow passages with practiced efficiency. Years of guerrilla warfare had honed their skills, humans adapting rapidly while the methodical aliens still struggled to predict their tactics. Lieutenant Zoya Petrov held up her hand, halting the group. Ahead, the passage widened into a chamber filled with pulsating crystalline structures. The neural relay, heart of the Dominion's tactical network. No guards inside, she whispered. They can't imagine anyone reaching this far. Huang nodded. Alien arrogance would be their downfall. He carefully removed the neural disruptor, a device cobbled together from hospital MRI components and alien tech, all calibrated to amplify human brainwave patterns into overwhelming noise. Now, he said. Rivera cut the security feeds. Huang and Petrov entered the chamber, securing the disruptor to the central crystal matrix. Green indicators flashed as the device synchronized with the alien network. For Earth, Huang whispered, activating the disruptor. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the Dominion. Throughout the mothership, alien commanders dropped to the floor, their neural links overloaded with chaotic human brainwave patterns. The disruption cascaded through their entire command network, spreading to surface installations worldwide. Across Earth, resistance fighters emerged from hiding, striking confused alien garrisons with synchronized precision. The Dominion forces, cut off from their hive mind tactical guidance, fell into disarray. In the Brazilian underground bunker, engineer Lupita Santos watched as power flowed into the captured faster-than-light communicator. Her team had spent months deciphering its operation, recognizing its potential beyond the current battle. "Initiating transmission sequence," she announced, her fingers dancing across alien control surfaces that responded to her touch as if they were made for human hands. The device hummed to life, establishing Earth's first direct connection to the wider galaxy. Santos looked at the pulsing light with wonder. "We can talk to the stars now," she said softly. As night fell across a battlefield-scarred planet, humanity claimed its first major victory. Resistance leaders worldwide reported successful operations, captured alien technology, and, most importantly, hope spreading through civilian populations. For the first time since the invasion began, people stepped outside their shelters and looked up at the stars without fear. The war was far from over, but humanity had proven what the Dominion feared most. We would never surrender, and our unpredictability made us dangerous indeed. "Impossible," muttered Commander Vexcrawl as he watched the tactical display. The stolen Dominion fighter executed a series of maneuvers his battle computers classified as beyond structural tolerance. The alien commander slammed his fist against the console. How are they doing this? 3 months after Operation Thunderclap, humanity had progressed from resistance to counteroffensive. The war's second year revealed what the Dominion feared most. Humans didn't just use technology, they transformed it. In a repurposed automotive factory beneath Sydney, Dr. Sofia Mbeki prepared her most daring experiment yet. Before her stood pilot Maya Rivera, her expression a mixture of determination and apprehension. The neural interface, fluid contains modified nanites harvested from their communication devices. Mbeki explained as she prepared the injection. "This will either let you fly their ships with your mind or kill you." Rivera nodded. "Earth needs every advantage. I volunteer." The procedure took 16 minutes. For 12 hours, Rivera lay unconscious as the nanites integrated with her nervous system. When she finally opened her eyes, she reported a strange sensation, as if her consciousness extended beyond her body. The captured alien fighter responded to Rivera's thoughts before she even touched the controls. Where Dominion pilots required years of training to achieve basic competency, she mastered complex maneuvers in hours. The craft became an extension of herself, performing feats its designers had never imagined possible. Similar breakthroughs emerged worldwide. In Montreal, scientists developed camouflage suits based on octopus skin that rendered soldiers completely invisible to alien sensors. In Nairobi, engineers modified Dominion energy weapons to draw power from Earth's electromagnetic field, solving humanity's ammunition problem overnight. The Dominion Central Intelligence Director reviewed the disturbing reports from Earth. His carefully structured worldview crumbled as footage showed humans adapting alien technology in weeks that had taken his species centuries to develop. "They don't innovate like us," he reported to the increasingly nervous Dominion High Council. "They make intuitive leaps, connections we would never consider. Their thinking is unpredictable." The Council's eldest leaned forward. "Explain how primitive mammals defeat our best tactical systems." "They aren't bound by conventions," the intelligence director replied. "Where we refine technology through careful iteration, they transform it completely. Where we see limitations, they see possibilities." On Earth, Admiral Reyes convened the first Global Defense Summit, bringing together military leaders and scientific pioneers from every continent. The mood was cautiously optimistic as Dr. Chen presented their latest breakthrough, a method to detect Dominion ships through their own shielding. "We understand now why they feared us," Reyes addressed the assembly. Not for what we were, but for what they knew we would become once challenged. The Dominion had expected submission from a technologically inferior species. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, our capacity to innovate under pressure, to adapt and overcome regardless of odds. As Rivera's fighter squadron intercepted another alien supply shipment, she caught herself smiling inside her neural interface. The tables had turned. Earth was no longer fighting for survival alone. We were fighting to take our place among the stars, whether the Dominion welcomed us or not. Commander Raj Patel stood before the captured interstellar transmitter, its crystalline components humming with energy that made the hair on his arms stand on end. The device, once used to coordinate Dominion fleet movements across vast distances, had been modified by Earth scientists for a more ambitious purpose. "Is it ready?" asked Admiral Reyes, her voice echoing in the hardened bunker beneath Geneva. Patel nodded. "The transmission package contains everything: footage of the unprovoked attack, our attempts at peaceful communication, evidence of civilian targeting. And you're certain other civilizations will receive it?" Reyes studied the alien device skeptically. "The Dominion didn't evolve in isolation," Dr. Chen explained, making final adjustments. "Their communications technology is designed to interface with multiple species. Based on captured archives, at least 17 spacefaring civilizations exist in our galactic neighborhood." Reyes took a deep breath. "Humanity's first message to the wider galaxy. Let's hope someone friendly is listening." "Transmission initiated," Patel announced as he activated the sequence. The message raced outward at speeds beyond human comprehension, carrying Earth's plea across vast interstellar distances. For weeks they monitored the modified receiver, detecting nothing but cosmic background noise. Then, on the 43rd day, it happened. The translator struggled to process the incoming signal. 3 distinct communication patterns overlapping. The first originated from the crystalline Tarsi, whose diamond cities orbited a distant red dwarf star. The second came from the Irati, gaseous entities who evolved in the atmospheres of gas giants. The third and most formal response arrived from the ancient Vordani, a species that had explored the stars when humans were still perfecting stone tools. "They're requesting direct dialogue," Chen said, his voice hushed with awe. Within days, 3 diplomatic vessels entered the solar system, approaching with obvious caution, but broadcasting peaceful intentions. Unlike the Dominion's aggressive posturing, these ships maintained respectful distance while establishing communication protocols. Ambassador Lucia Ortega welcomed the first alien diplomats not intent on humanity's destruction to the rebuilt United Nations headquarters in New York. The visitors observed human resilience with evident fascination. The city still bore scars of Dominion bombardment, yet markets buzzed with activity and children played in parks adjacent to reconstruction zones. "We expected warriors," admitted the Tarsi envoy, her crystalline form refracting sunlight into rainbow patterns. "Instead, we found artists, musicians, philosophers, and the first species brave enough to stand against the Dominion's expansion." The Irati representative, contained within a specialized environmental suit, rippled with colors expressing what the translator interpreted as admiration. "Your adaptability mirrors our own. We evolved in ever-changing atmospheric conditions, while you evolved in diverse terrestrial environments." The Vordani delegate, oldest among them, studied humans with ancient eyes. "For millennia we maintained neutrality while the Dominion subjugated developing worlds. Your resistance shows us the cost of our inaction." On the summit's final day, Ortega stood alongside the alien representatives as they signed the Stellar Concordat, history's first alliance between Earth and extraterrestrial civilizations. As Earth's flag joined those of worlds thousands of light-years distant, humanity realized a profound truth. We were never meant to face the stars alone. Admiral Reyes stood on her flagship's bridge, the viewport framing Saturn's majestic rings against the void. The UNS Defiance had once been a modest orbital defense platform. Now it led the largest battle fleet ever assembled in Earth's history. Alongside human vessels flew the crystalline ships of the Tarsi, the nebulous crafts of the Iradi, and the ancient sentinels of the Vordani. Dominion fleet detected approaching from the heliopause, announced Lieutenant Commander Park. They've committed every available warship to this engagement. Tactical displays illuminated with thousands of red markers representing enemy vessels. The Dominion Supreme Commander had abandoned all other fronts to crush the human rebellion, once and for all. They still underestimate us, Reyes told her nervous crew as she studied the enemy formation. Their tactics haven't evolved since our first encounters. Ours have. Lieutenant Commander Akachi Okoro approached the tactical station. Strike Squadron is prepped and awaiting your order, Admiral. Reyes nodded. Operation Shadow Ring is authorized. Okoro's squadron of 20 modified fighters launched from the Defiance, their hulls coated with light-absorbing material harvested from Dominion stealth vessels. While the main fleet engaged the enemy head-on, these specialized craft slipped away, diving directly into Saturn's rings. Maintaining course through the debris field, Okoro reported as his fighter navigated ice chunks and rock fragments. The rings provided perfect cover for their approach, confusing Dominion sensors that struggled to distinguish the fighters from natural objects. The Dominion flagship dominated space above Saturn's northern hemisphere, a massive construct directing the battle with presumed impunity. Their shielding technology had always been their greatest advantage, impenetrable to conventional weapons. Quantum torpedoes armed, Okoro confirmed as his squadron emerged from the rings on the far side of the engagement zone. The weapons, technology gifted by the Tarsi and enhanced by human engineers, operated on principles the Dominion had never encountered. For Earth, Okoro whispered, giving the command to fire. The torpedoes phased through space in ways that defied conventional physics, appearing inside the Dominion flagship's shields rather than impacting them. The resulting detonation tore through the massive vessel's power core, creating a chain reaction visible across the solar system. On Earth, billions watched the battle unfold through hastily constructed public view screens. Children pointed excitedly as the Dominion command ship erupted in spectacular nuclear fire. The enemy formation broke, their coordinated attack dissolving into chaos as individual captains struggled to compensate for the loss of central command. The combined Earth and Allied fleet pressed their advantage, methodically dismantling the Dominion's remaining forces. Battle by battle, planet by planet, the invaders were pushed back beyond Neptune, beyond Pluto, and finally beyond the solar system's edge. Admiral Reyes accepted the formal surrender of the remaining Dominion forces, 7 days after the Battle of Saturn. As enemy ships retreated in disarray, Earth reclaimed its celestial neighborhood. That night, humanity celebrated like never before. People emerged from bunkers and shelters, looking up at stars that once harbored threats, but now held promise. The solar system, humanity's cradle, belonged to Earth once more, and for the first time the vast galaxy beyond beckoned not with danger, but with possibility. General Maya Takahashi addressed the combined fleet from the bridge of the UNS Horizon, humanity's first purpose-built interstellar warship. Around her stood officers from Earth alongside representatives from their new alien allies. The view screen showed thousands of vessels prepared to make the jump into Dominion territory. We come not as conquerors, but as liberators, she told the assembled crews, her voice carried across the fleet through translators calibrated for 17 different species. The Dominion has subjugated worlds across this sector for millennia. Today we bring them choice. The massive fleet disappeared in successive flashes of light as the ships activated their jump drives, reappearing light years away in orbit around Kelnar, a Dominion agricultural world. Rather than the orbital bombardment the inhabitants expected, the Earth fleet deployed precision strikes against military installations while broadcasting a message in the native language. People of Kelnar. We are humanity, joined by the free worlds of the stellar concordate. We have no quarrel with your civilians. We offer medicine, food, and the freedom to choose your own future. The unprecedented strategy shocked even Earth's allies. The Vordani representative questioned Takahashi. Your species suffered greatly at Dominion hands. Why show mercy to their worlds? Takahashi pointed to the view screen showing Kelnar civilians cautiously approaching human medical stations. Because it's what separates us from them. As the fleet progressed deeper into Dominion space, the pattern repeated. Military targets neutralized with surgical precision, followed immediately by humanitarian aid and peace offers. World after world, the Dominion's propaganda about human savagery crumbled as their subjects witnessed the reality. These humans, spare civilians, whispered the Creel resistance leader to his followers, his reptilian features illuminated by the glow of Earth medicine treating their wounded. His people had served the Dominion for 7 generations, told that all other species were barbaric predators. The Dominion's high command grew increasingly desperate as reports flooded in of populations welcoming the human fleet rather than resisting. 3 Dominion member species, the Creel, the amphibious Norval, and the insectoid Varine, staged coordinated rebellions as human fleets approached, their long suppression finally finding an outlet. The final push to Nexus Prime, the Dominion capital, encountered unexpectedly light resistance. General Takahashi's flagship entered orbit to discover the unthinkable, the Dominion Council members under guard, their own citizens having overthrown them after seeing human broadcasts. Takahashi landed with a small security detail to find the council chambers occupied by representatives of former Dominion subject species. The new Creel representative approached her with a formal bow. "We expected monsters," he admitted, mandibles clicking nervously. "The Dominion told us humans were violent primitives who would exterminate all in their path. Instead, we found the first species powerful enough to win a war, yet compassionate enough to offer peace before total victory was assured." As Takahashi accepted the formal surrender document, she reflected on humanity's journey, from a single endangered planet to the architects of a new galactic order. The document was brief but profound. The Dominion concedes unconditional defeat to the human species and their allies. The alien war had ended, not with Earth's destruction, but with its emergence as a galactic peacemaker. The newly constructed Galactic Council spire rose from Earth's expanded orbital platform, a gleaming structure of crystal, metal, and living biotech that represented the unprecedented cooperation between 17 formerly separate civilizations. From the ground, it appeared as a shining beacon among the stars, visible even in daylight as a reminder of humanity's journey. 5 years after the war's end, Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the lectern in the Grand Auditorium, inaugurating the Cooperative Science Academy. Around him sat the greatest scientific minds from across known space, united in their pursuit of knowledge. "We gather today not to celebrate victory," Chen addressed the diverse assembly, "but to ensure it was not in vain. The true measure of any civilization is not its capacity for war, but its dedication to progress." The Academy represented something revolutionary, a place where techniques and technologies once foreign to each other now blended seamlessly. Tarsi crystallography combined with human biochemistry created medical breakthroughs that extended lifespans across species. Irradi atmospheric manipulation techniques helped restore Earth's climate from war damage in mere years rather than centuries. "Humans do not just adopt technology," observed the Vordani high scholar, her ancient eyes studying a holographic display of a terraforming project on Mars. "They transform it with an intuitive leap our species requires centuries to achieve." Former Dominion worlds now traded eagerly with Earth, especially coveting human art, music, cuisine, and entertainment. Creative expressions many advanced species had abandoned as inefficient. Alien tourists flooded Earth's cities, marveling at human resilience as they sampled foods in rebuilt marketplaces that stood in ruins half a decade earlier. Admiral Elena Reyes, who had witnessed humanity's darkest hour during first contact, now commanded the exploration vessel Horizon as it charted paths to undiscovered regions of the galaxy. Her mission exemplified Earth's new purpose, not conquest, but discovery and peaceful exchange. "When the Dominion arrived, we weren't ready," she told her diverse crew as they prepared to jump beyond known space. "Now we ensure no developing civilization faces the same trial alone." On Earth, children who had hidden in bunkers during the War now studied in schools alongside young Creel, Tarsi, and dozens of other species. The generation born after the conflict would never know a time when humanity stood isolated among the stars. The diplomatic phrase, human thinking, became the highest praise in governmental circles across countless worlds, shorthand for creative solutions no algorithm could predict. Problems that had persisted for millennia found resolution through the unique human combination of scientific rigor and intuitive leaps. As the Galactic Alliance celebrated its 5th anniversary, the ancient Vordani eldest raised a toast that resonated across translations to every member species. To humanity, the youngest among us who taught the stars themselves new ways to shine. The gathered delegates responded with a universal gesture of respect as Earth's representative stepped forward, a farmer's daughter from Kenya who had fought in the resistance and now spoke for all humanity. We came to the stars as children, threatened with extinction. We remain as students eager to learn. But we also stand ready as teachers, guardians, and friends to all who seek peace among the endless worlds that await us.